New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
And hello again, dear ones. Rev Robert with you over here. Rev Z has the week off. Thank you for joining us. This is New Thought Today, the time when we come together each week, Tuesdays, 2 p.m., to connect and take a look at how this wonderful philosophy, New Thought, can serve and impact the future of humanity's evolution, of humanity's journey along this evolution as we are awakening to our own spiritual magnificence. So I want to thank you for being with us today. And please do feel free to chime along, chat along, connect along. If you'd like to join me in studio today, we can even do that. If you like my Santa hat is off there a little bit. There we go. January 1st to January 31st. That's how often I get to wear this hat. You only have to look at it for about another 10 days and then it'll be gone for the year. That's my rule and I'm sticking to it. So please join us today. It's a holiday experience and to some degree. And that's sort of where I want to start our conversation today. If there is ever a time, I believe, that we get trapped into so many of the old thoughts and the way it's always been and and the traditions of our lives, it's the month of December. And many of those traditions are very well loved, well-meaning, meaningful and powerful. And there are often some traditions that just aren't any longer. And so for me, the month of December has really become about continuing that sense of that experience of gratitude from November, holding on to that gratitude and playing with that gratitude throughout the entire month. Now, for me, my birthday's in December. It was actually yesterday, the 20th. So it's right before the solstice. Today is the solstice. And that for me is also a very, very rich time. So we have all these various traditions, spiritual traditions, religious traditions, familiar traditions, where we have an opportunity to say, does this still serve? Do I still believe this? Does this still serve? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. What are those things that happen in December for you that feel like more of an obligation than an inspiration? Because those that know me know I'm all about letting go of the obligations and getting into the inspirations. What is inspiring you? And so December becomes that for me as well. It's the gratitude from November, coupled with all these opportunities to experience the richness of spiritual tradition that leads me to an inspiration for the coming year. Now, preparing for that. And so I don't like to look at December as like preparing for the coming year. That's not what it's about. It's about being present, again, pulling that gratitude forward so I can be open to the inspirations that want to be known. And one of the ways we do that around here is through visioning. And we do a lot of it because it's a very, very important process, and it's a very powerful process that allows us, and I think I might even have a little clip here that I want to share. It allows us to be in a place um, of remembering or revealing what wants to be known, especially in the visioning process. So over the starting on Monday, starting next week. So by the time you see us next time, this will already have started. We're having a marathon of visioning sessions. Check. And so we have 21 opportunities across 7 days to come together. You'll see it starts on Monday. We've got some 7 a.m., some 4 p.m., some 7 p.m.s, 12 noon, 2 p.m., trying to mix up the times with the first half of the week and the second half of the week, and giving us an opportunity. You can engage as much or as little as you would like. There really is no barrier to entry. Everyone is welcome, and we'd love to see you be a part of this, because this is, I believe, how we codify, how we bring the inspirations into an identifiable form with which we can work, with which you can work, with which you can use to launch yourself into what 2022 has in store and what you're going to create from 2022. I think we're here to expand the crew in 2022. That for me is the real feeling, that 2022 we get to expand our connections, our network, our how many the people that are getting to be a part of this and sharing their gifts and sharing their talents and supporting creators and others in bringing forth this mighty message that is New Thought. And that's what we're about. And right now, I think we've got probably about 20 or 25 hours a week of broadcasting. And the intention is that by the middle of next year, by June of next year, I'd like to be at 35. So I'd like to see a 10-hour increase over the first 6 months. It means at least one show a month launching, at least an hour's worth of broadcasting every month from here through June. I think we can do that. I know of at least 2 shows that are going to start in January, and another part-time show starting in January, and another show beyond that in February. We're already halfway there and we don't know it. That's New Thought. And so December, this season of lights, this season of holidays, and there are some amazing holidays out there. Some way too many national or international or religious observances. Now, we know the major religious holidays that happen at this time of the year: Kwanzaa, Christmas, Hanukkah, Boxing Day for the British and the Canadians. There's all kinds of other ones, including what some consider the parodies of Festivus. And I didn't know this. There's a religious organization known as the Pastafarians. And the Pastafarians celebrate a generic holiday. And it's not so much a day as it is celebrating the holiday spirit and the holiday season. And it happens on any given day during the holiday season that they decide it should happen that year. And, my point is, we each get to celebrate this time in a way that works for us. At least that's what I trust we're here to be doing. And we get to celebrate something that works for us. And again, in that, I'm pulling that forward into next year as well. spending time in contemplation and in inspiration in my spiritual practices. Somebody today asked me 21 visionings, except what if you don't want to vision 3 times a day? Talking about me, right? What if I don't want to be envisioning 3 times a day? And my thought was, wow, I want nothing more than to be able to vision 3 times a day, to be in the process, to have that be the work that I get to share. And so having a new thought about how this philosophy can support our future and the future of humanity, I think it's a big, big question. And my partner and colleague in collaboration and co-creation here, Reverend Z, not with us today. Again, he's got the day off. But Rev Z and I have some great ideas in store to share with you next year and throughout 2022. Our intention is to put a bit more effort behind this show, specifically in bringing forward new and different guests for you. And so we would really love to hear who you would like to have on this program. Who would you like to see us interview? Who's out there that you believe we should connect with and get into our studio? You can send us an email at ministertalk@ntmedia.org or comment in the comment box, whichever is right for you. But we would really love to hear, what topics would you like us to cover, to discuss? Now, on this program, we've talked about climate change and we've talked about vaccines, and we do talk a little bit about politics sometimes, but not the politics of personality or any of that, but we talk about the politics of human rights and how we can use this philosophy to influence the future of humanity's evolution. One of the people I hope to introduce you to this year is, and I'm not going to use any names just yet because I don't have permission to be on this program, but is a minister of religious science who is also actively running for political office and active in searching for the right opportunity from here in Colorado, and to influence the political system from within, and to bring more of this philosophy to the world. It was in the 2020 or 2016 election that we had Marianne Williamson being part of the conversation. And I believe she'll continue to be a part of the conversation in the future. And that again is bringing this philosophy to bear on how we create a world that works for everyone. A world that works for everyone in this time, and in 3 years from now, and in 5 years, and in 3 generations, and in 5 generations, and in 7 generations. For those that maybe have followed this program over the last year or so, I think we're over a year now, I believe. If you've been following this program, you know that we've always been striving to consider a more holistic perspective on the topics we cover by looking at how do these things affect future generations. And we may not always know. And if we don't know how what we're doing today is going to affect future generations, then I believe that's an opportunity for us to slow down and say, okay, hold on a minute then. Right now, the whole NFT craze seems to be a part of that. That there's an opportunity for people to make what looks like a huge amount of money in crypto. And we all know now you can exchange crypto for dollars and back and forth. So it looks like there's this avenue to create a whole ton of money, and the carbon footprint involved with what goes on to make NFTs valuable and sell them and keep selling them, and everything that's going on with happens to be pretty carbon heavy, and may just not be the best thing for 7 generations down the road. So we have to consider those. It doesn't mean that we throw the baby out it doesn't mean we just throw everything out the window. doesn't mean that we immediately say, oh, NFTs are bad, and no, and we live in a both and universe. We live in a world that is about finding the common good in both and, in both sides of a perspective, of a story, because all perspectives are valid. It really can't be any other way. All perspectives are valid as to, how we go about this thing, creating a world that works for everybody. And you're going to hear me say that. You're going to hear my brother Elzia say that. You're going to hear our guests say that again and again and again. We're looking at how do we create a world that works better for everyone, so that everyone is awakened to their spiritual magnificence. And everyone has the opportunity to live a life of joy and love and prosperity and peace and happiness and all the good that we have available to us. My apologies if you could hear the puppy dogs barking. I think there was a delivery upstairs. So again, here we are with this opportunity, if you will, to be in the midst of, to be on the borderland, to be the borderland of cultural change. And what we know about cultural change is it's not often pretty. It's often very mucky, and it often takes great effort, and it can often be very unpleasant. I think we're seeing that now. And so now more than ever, this philosophy of New Thought, this belief system of positivity and utilizing the spiritual principles and the spiritual practices that we know and teach to affect not necessarily the outcome, or not to affect what's going on in our lives, but to affect how we approach what's going on in our lives, and how we use what's going on in our lives as the fodder, as the information that's necessary to bring forward an even greater expression of life and a spiritual life and life everlasting and all the good that comes with that. Are you with me? Let me know. Chat in the chat box. Let me know if you're following along. And even if you're watching it another time and you're watching this on a rebroadcast or at your own leisure, because I get it, right? We get to watch what we want when we want. So whether you're watching this live or at another time, matters not. What matters is that if you have an opinion, if you have a perspective, if you'd have something you'd like to share, please do. And then we'll make sure we get back to you, even if it's 2 weeks from now, from when I'm speaking. In which case, we'll be in the new year. And most of this won't have mattered. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break here, give ourselves just a brief second to say thank you, not only to our sponsors, but to our committed givers as well. You're watching New Thought today on the New Thought Media Network. We'll be back real soon with more. Hang tight. Stay with us.
Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, for your continued support. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown Atlanta, for your monthly contribution. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, for your monthly contribution. And Suze Ajit, thank you for your very generous donation. And a special thanks to Hefferland Foundation for your generous technology grant. And a big shout out to all our committed donors.
And we're back here on New Thought today with part of the New Thought Media Network. I'm Rev Robert Brzezinski. My co-host, Reverend Elzia, has the week off. And as it is a holiday special, we're doing an abbreviated version of our program today, mostly because for the two of us, an hour is usually the perfect amount of time to have a conversation and look at whatever topic it is we're looking at. Today, I'm pretty sure that I could babble on for an hour, and that's not necessarily what we're here to do. But if you do have a comment, if you'd like to join the conversation, please chat in the chat box. If you'd like to join me in studio, please do that as well, or let me know in the chat box. We'll bring you live into the studio, and you're welcome to come join me if you're watching live. If you're watching at another time, feel free to leave a comment as well. Thanks for being part of what we're doing here on the New Thought Media Network. So, okay, so next year we have this big vision emerging for this program to have more guests more often and have a consistent flow of guests coming into the studio with us and having consistent guests on Tuesdays. And the overall thing we want to look at is how can this philosophy serve the evolution of human experience in the coming days, years, decades, moving forward. And what we know is this philosophy has done great work in the past. And the movement of mental and spiritual healing has grown, not just churches and organizations, but has grown people spiritually beyond the rigors of organized religion. Some would say we are a very disorganized religion. I don't think we're a religion. It's spiritual, but not religious, baby. Totally spiritual, but not religious. If there's anything to be religious about, I believe it's your own personal spirituality. Nothing more. And spirituality is really my own way of approaching the divine. Now, what we talk about here on New Thought Media Network is the New Thought philosophy, because that's a common set of beliefs. It's a common language that we can speak, if you will. It's a common set of practices that we can learn and share in that allow for greater proof and demonstration of what we believe. When I believe it just myself, but I have to rely on my own demonstrations, it can be a little tricky. It can be a little tough. But when I can see others using these principles around me, when I witness and the stories are shared with me, and that's what classes are about, and that's what community is about, and that's what 2022 is going to be about for us as well. Creating greater senses of community and classwork and time to be together so that we can share the demonstrations and share the wins, share the wonderfulness of how this is all coming together. And coming together, I believe it is. 2022, we're going to expand the crew. 2022 is a whole new you. 2022 is everything new. Because that's what we're about. It's that time, and we can feel it. I can feel it. I trust you can too. I think that's why you're part of this network. I think that's why you show up here. We can share and be and do and have all we've ever desired as a community, as a collective community, a collective consciousness, if you will, of peace and love and empowerment, prosperity, all the good, all the amazingness that is right here at our very fingertips, in front of us. It's a cool thing. It's a really cool thing. And so I stop for a moment. I listen for spirit. And what I'm reminded is that I myself am called to give everything to this. And I don't expect everyone to want to give everything to this. But I do hope there are those, and I'm going to strike that. I trust there are those of you that are that want to give to this, that want to see the possibility of a bigger vision here, that want to be part of something bigger. And for those that feel that, please reach out, ministertalk@ntmedia.org. Perhaps you'd like to be a guest on this program. Perhaps you know somebody that you think should be a guest on this program. There's no more denominations. No more what church are you from, or where'd you get your degree, or where'd you get your ministerial license. No more of that. We're open to a new way to perceive truth beyond those self-imposed limitations. Because everyone may be a revealer of truth that lives in close contact with the indwelling spirit. Regardless of title or time or distinction or precedent, everyone may be a revealer of truth. And we'd like to reveal the truth on this program week by week, every week, Tuesdays at 2 Mountain Time. We'd love to have you be a part of it. I'm going to get out of here for now, folks. My name's Reverend Robert Brzezinski. It's a glorious day wherever, I trust it's a glorious day wherever you are. It's a glorious day where I am. I'm going to go enjoy some of that glory, some of that magnificence, and invite you to come back and join us again next week here on New Thought Media Network, where my brother LZ will be back with us, and we'll have one of our regular extended or normal length hour-long episodes. Again, we could go on and on and on and on, but really, I think what has wanted to be said has been said. I love you. I look forward to seeing you again real soon. Until then, please go forth and be peace. Be love. Peace.